What's up, y'all? Chris here to do a brief little vid on UFC 162. I say brief because outside of the main event, maybe one other fight, not all too excited for this card, to be honest, which is kind of surprising because outside of, UFC has big fights. Obviously, we have GSP fights and Jones and Anderson and Kane, I guess now. They have 3 cards during the year that they've established a trend over the past few years that are like their big cards. That's Super Bowl weekend, 4th of July weekend, and end of the year / New Year's Eve card. But unfortunately, this one isn't really up to normal caliber, quality overall. I mean, sure, you got Anderson and Silva in the main event. That's big. But outside of that, not a whole lot of appealing or super intriguing matchups, in my opinion. Let's see. Just main card. Cub Swanson, Dennis Seaver. Potential for fight of the night. 2 guys working their way up the featherweight ladder. Favorite Cub Swanson by decision. Should be a good fight, though. Mark Munoz, Tim Bosch. Hard to say where either of these guys are at. Not necessarily in the rankings, but Munoz coming off that time off, almost a year off since he got crushed by Weidman. So hard to say where his ad's at psychologically. And Bosch was on a roll and then looked like terrible in his last fight against Costa Philippou. It's a close fight, though. Pretty much a coin toss either way, even at their best. But I'll go with Munoz. I don't know. Don't really have a strong inclination why, but give me Munoz by decision. Hodger Gracie, Tim Kennedy. This fight should have happened in Strikeforce. Not really much of a need for it here in the UFC. Obviously, if Gracie can't get this fight to the ground, he's toast. Kennedy's got the better wrestling. Not a fan of Kennedy at all. But I'll go with Kennedy by decision. But I hope Gracie can choke him out. Tap him out. Co-main event of the night. Former UFC lightweight champion Frank Edgar taking on Charles the Bronx Oliveira. Edgar coming off 3 straight losses. Of course, there were debatable losses to Ben Henderson and the loss to Jose Aldo in his last fight. Oliveira coming off the loss to Cub Swanson. I think this is just a bounce back fight for Edgar. Obviously, the UFC wants to get back on the winning track, and this should be a perfect stylistic match for him. Edgar by decision, if not stoppage, by hurting Oliveira to the body and finish him on the ground with strikes like Donald the Cowboy Cerrone did. Main event, UFC middleweight champion, pound for pound king, perhaps all-time greatest MMA fighter of all time, Anderson the Spider Silva taking on Chris Weidman, undefeated. Obviously, Weidman's going off that win I mentioned earlier against Mark Munoz, but unfortunately he's been out for up to a year because of a shoulder injury and rehab. And Anderson coming off the showcase win over Stephan Bonner, which, take it for what it was worth, in the light heavyweight division no less. A lot of people are giving Weidman a chance in this fight. I guess because of the stylistic matchup, maybe, because he's got the strong wrestling base like Chael Sonnen did, but he's got better grappling and top control game than Sonnen, and he hits a lot harder than Sonnen did. I can see that, but conversely, doesn't have a lot of experience, and his stand-up obviously is not there yet, certainly not on the level of Anderson Silva. So, where you think Anderson Silva may have holes on the ground that Weidman can exploit, I think there's even more of a disparity on the feet. Can Weidman catch Silva with the shot? Yes. But is it likely? Not in my opinion. If this fight stays standing for any length of time or sustained period, Silva stops him. If Weidman can ground him for 5 rounds, then he wins the decision. I'll go with the latter, or the former, I should say. Give me Anderson Silva by stoppage. I think it might be a little bit too much use for Chris Weidman. Plus, he's coming off a big win. He's not coming in this fight off ideal circumstances, coming off injury, coming off surgery, coming off long layoff. Chris Weidman will, I think, eventually be the UFC middleweight champion, but just not yet. So, Anderson Silva by stoppage. And for those who think, hey, John Jones didn't have a lot of experience when he got his first title fight and won, John Jones is a special case. Chris Weidman's good, but John Jones is great. Anderson Silva by stoppage, 3rd round, TKO. It's my thoughts. Talked about this event actually a lot more in depth on this past week in the Science Minds radio show. I'll put links to that in there for other videos, always, as well as my Twitter. That's it for now. What are you guys' thoughts on the fight? If you're looking forward to the event, which fights, predictions, and all that other good stuff. That's it for now. I'll be back Saturday night afterwards, talk about it. But until then, I'm out.